How do you know if it's time to add more scalable offers like consulting, training programs, or even digital products to your agency services? Or if it's just going to stretch you too thin. Over the last few years, I've been able to help over 800 agency owners and service providers turn their expertise into more scalable offers, from $100 workshops to $5,000 consulting retainers, even to $30,000 training and coaching programs. Some crushed it, others not so much. What that meant is that I got a better idea of what the signs are that show you that you're ready for a leveraged offer and how to know if and when you should actually launch one. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what those signs are and how to check for them yourself. Now, before we dive in, let's actually talk about when adding consulting and or digital products actually works for an agency or a service provider. So to map this out, let's look at a triangle. Now, the bottom tier of the triangle is the type of agency where you're still doing custom scoping, you're reinventing the wheel each and every client, and you're deeply involved in the delivery as the founder. Now, in the middle tier, you're starting to notice patterns. You have a repeatable way in which you get clients' results. Now, at the top tier of the pyramid is where you've turned that repeatability into a framework or a method or an approach or even a system that others, like people on your team, can actually follow. So you need to ask yourself right now, which tier do you actually fall in? To do that, I'm going to give you an example of agencies that we've seen come through our programs and also of my agency as it's evolved. So that bottom tier is what we call the custom everything agency. So this is for that marketing agency, maybe you're a web design agency, and you're custom scoping each and every project. Each proposal is different. The delivery really depends upon you and your expertise because, again, each client has come through you. Some clients get, solutions A, some clients get solutions B, and it always comes down to just your skill and your effort. And so this stage, it's really hard to sell productized consulting or digital products because what you do right now isn't repeatable for each and every client. For me, when we started our funnel building agency, really it was more of like a marketing automation agency, and we would build new client onboarding campaigns. Some clients would come in and say, hey, I'm on HubSpot and I want to move to Keep, or, hey, I don't have a CRM, or I've been using something like MailChimp. Can you, bring me on to something like Keep or Infusionsoft, which is what we focused on at the time. We had some people come in that wanted a webinar funnel. We had some people that came in and they wanted, a new client onboarding campaign. We had some clients that really just needed to have more automation to their email newsletter so that they were sending out repeatable emails each and every week. For us at that stage, as long as you use the software that we focused on, we would really build anything that you needed, which led to different scope projects, some projects being short, some projects being longer, us working around the clock trying to really cater to the needs of really any type of person that was looking to use automation in our business. It was not repeatable. Now let's look at the middle tier, which is about repeatable results, and maybe you don't have a framework yet. So imagine you're a brand strategy agency and you've noticed that you use the same process for each and every client, each and every project that you work on. Stage 1, discovery, 2 is positioning, 3, messaging, 4, then you go to visuals. Maybe you even have templates for each section that you use internally, but maybe you haven't packaged them up yet, or the clients don't know that they exist. The results for you, they are becoming predictable because you're going through the same process. That is a strong sign that you're in this middle tier and ready to turn that repeatability into a named system, method, or framework. For us, my agency Systemly at the time, again, marketing automation, we realized that a lot of the work we were doing, we started seeing trends. A lot of people wanted a weekly webinar funnel. At the time, one of our big clients was John Lee Dumas. He kind of pioneered the concept of a weekly live webinar to sell digital products. And so a lot of people that were selling courses wanted that funnel. And that's the funnel that we had been building and managing for John. So we noticed that every time we build out that campaign, there's specific pieces that make his campaign work. So we basically turned that into a repeatable system. I created templates for the show up emails, for the follow-up emails if they attended the webinar or they didn't. And we really made frameworks out of each and every email so that we could apply that to every client that wanted to work with us on a webinar funnel. Now let's look at that top tier of the pyramid, which is the framework-driven business. At the top, I like to think of a growth consultant. They have some sort of proprietary process, the 4-stage growth roadmap. It's a system that walks businesses through lead gen, nurture, conversion, and delivery. They use it inside of their consulting to guide their clients. They possibly even sell it as a DIY course, and they probably have pieces of it that they teach in workshops in a room for training. The key here is it's the system that gets the results, even when they are not in the room. Their clients and or their team members can use this framework and process to help get their clients the outcome that they're looking for. Now let's flip that to our agency. So we had been building, project-based webinar funnels for clients that came to us, and we hit a point where it was so repeatable that I had training videos on how to set up the automations. We had templatized email scripts for all the different parts of the webinar funnel, landing page templates. And we actually launched a group program where the first group was about 20 people, and we brought 20 people through the setup of this webinar funnel. So we actually gave them the assets, and they actually did the implementation because we gave them all of the, the creative templates, the email templates, the landing page templates, the automation templates, so that they could, be the hands to the keyboard, be the labor, and they built the actual funnel themselves. So we gave them all the pieces, they assembled it. Now, wherever you're at in this pyramid, it actually has nothing to do about your revenue. It's really about transferability of your process. So when it's your system and not you that drive the results, that's when you know that you're ready to start scaling your expertise through more of these leveraged offers. Now, let me say something that changed the game for me. The best consulting, training, digital products don't sell you and your brain. They sell your system. If your clients only win when you're in the room, that's the example of trading time for money, which again, isn't always bad. But if you want something more scalable and leveraged, you need something that can work without you. That is an actual asset. And that's where the system comes in. So the system, the framework, this is actually what allows you to sell consulting to clients who have a team that want to implement. It allows you to offer playbooks or trainings to people who they want your method, but they don't need you to do the done for you piece. It's when you can actually step back and your IP, intellectual property, continues to generate value. So here's the truth. Once you've built that framework, or at least realize you have one and it consistently works, that's when you can start packaging it and get paid for your thinking. So now that you know building a framework is critical to packaging your expertise, allowing you to eventually add digital products, let's look at all the signs that will tell you that you're ready or that you're not. Sign number one, you've distilled your process into a system that other people can follow. At this stage, likely it's your team that's following it, or at least parts of your team following parts of your process. And at this stage, this is when clients are winning because of the method, not just because of your presence. Sign number two is you're repeating yourself across all your projects. If you find yourself saying or doing the same things over and over, that's a signal that you've got a repeatable approach. It might just not be documented yet. Sign number three, clients or prospects ask you for your system. Some leads will want the how, not the done for you. They'll say things like, we have the people to implement. We just need your process. I have the team. I just need a roadmap. That's a flashing neon sign to start to productize your method. I remember being on a sales call, and at the time we had zero capacity in our agency. I was already working nights and weekends. I was burnt out, but I was sitting on the phone talking to what appeared to be a really great prospect, and it would have been great to help them. And I actually had to turn him down. I told him that there was a wait list and that we wouldn't be able to get started for at least a month and a half, and that I'd take a deposit. And he was like, well, hey, look, I have a question. I have this junior marketing person on my team, and they're actually pretty good at the software. Can you just show us the campaigns and show us how you build it, and we'll do all of the work? And at the time I was like, I don't even know what that means. And so I said, what does that look like for you? He's like, well, can you show us the campaign? Do you have any templates? And I said, actually, yeah, we do have a lot of that stuff internally. And he's like, well, can you share it with me? And I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. I'll walk you through it. We'll schedule a couple calls. I'll give you the assets and you can implement, and we'll answer any questions along the way. And so at the time we were selling our webinars for around $13,000, $15,000. And when he asked, how much would that cost? I just threw out, I think I said $7,500. And he took it on the spot. And that was my big aha. I had all the systems. He had the people to do the work. They were willing to do the work. They just needed to know what to build, in what order, and have all of the pieces so that they could assemble it themselves. Sign number 4 is you're getting direct messages or emails asking for strategy-only type help. And this is when your expertise actually can become the offer. They trust you. They've been following your content. They want to buy your brain, not just your bandwidth. Sign number 5, one of my favorites, there's audience demand, pipeline demand below your done for you price point. So maybe you have a growing audience or you have a pipeline of people that you've had to turn down because they can't afford your top tier services. They'd happily pay for a roadmap, a playbook, a strategy session, or if you just gave them the system like we did to this one client where they'll actually do all of the work themselves. This is how leveraged income starts. Meeting demand with scalable delivery. Sign number 6 is your content is getting shared or commented on like crazy. If your insights that you're sharing on LinkedIn or if you're doing YouTube here are starting to be shared, you're already building trust at scale. That's the first step to start selling leveraged offers, is when people are mentioning your frameworks, reusing the terms that you use and asking for them. Sign number 7 is return viewership and email engagement is starting to climb. I remember I started seeing people come back, continue to open my emails, reply and engage to my emails, commenting on the systems that I was sharing and talking about all the time. That means your ideas are resonating and they'll likely buy more if you give them a way to buy into your thinking. Sign 8, this one's really important. You've built some bandwidth. Even if you've added 10% of your bandwidth back to availability to focus on something like this. This might look like you now have a team member that's taking over delivery or parts of delivery, or better yet, you have systems in place that are helping your team move effectively through their current delivery. If that's the case, you've probably bought back a little bit of time, and that's the fuel that you're going to need to build out this leveraged offering and get it off the ground. Now, maybe you're not seeing these signs yet, and honestly, that's okay. Every agency starts in the weeds. They start at the bottom of this pyramid. The move toward consulting or digital products starts with 3 things. It starts with getting repeatable results, then goes to documenting how you get those repeatable results, and then listening to who wants that method in a different delivery vehicle. Now, look, don't rush this. But at the same time, don't wait forever. If you're hearing these cues, if you're seeing these signals, and you have that framework that is starting to work without you, you might be more ready than you think. So if you're starting to see these signals, people asking for your method, wanting your brain, or needing that roadmap, you're on the edge of leverage, my friend. But here's the thing, adding consulting or digital products is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. In 2025 and beyond, agencies that grow sustainably and profitably and have lean teams are going to look very, very different. They're going to have new business models, new revenue streams, and really new ways of working. I actually break down the 3 key shifts that every agency needs to make in my next video. Click here and watch it now so that you can future-proof your agency.